Luke, did either one of you, ask Matt about, did you ask Matt what it's like here? Did you ask Matt?
Yeah. So once I kind of got it down to a few people, I a very tight circle, I did talk to Matt and swore him to secrecy. Pinky swear. Can't break a pinky swear. But no, Matt was. He just couldn't say enough great things about him. I talked to everybody he's pretty much worked with, but Matt certainly gave me a lot of good insight as well.
And once Coach reached out to me, then I talked to Matt, and obviously we coached together at Ole Miss and have been in some similar situations along the way, and so we were able to have some real good questions about the culture here and what it's like to coach here and everything. So obviously that was a big part of this process. Obviously a familiar face. We spent some time together in his office here a few minutes ago, and just blessed to be able to be with somebody that I know and trust and know does a great job, and we have a lot of the same values as well. So it's pretty awesome.
I guess, Tom, just going back to Indiana, I remember you talked about how you had this whole bunch of license plates that you kept from every state you went to because you bounced around so much, and you liked that you were sticking in one place for a little bit. So you're bouncing around again. Do you see Clemson as a place that you want to stick around for a while? And just with that, head coaching, is that something that you're keeping the door open there, or is that something that you just want to be the coordinator?
Well, first of all, we had these license plates in my home office, and we've added 2 more since that conversation. And so honestly, I've been a head coach in the Big Ten, and I love being defensive coordinator. I really, truly do. I'm definitely. I've learned never to say never. I get all that, but that's not what I'm planning to do. There's 2 things I love to do. I really love impacting the lives of young people, and you really only can do that by investing in there as a time component. And when you're a head coach, it's hard to have that time to really get to know the guys and really dive into their lives. And so this gives me a chance to do that. And also, I really do enjoy the football side of defense and studying film and really just diving into that. And you don't really get a chance to do that. I became a head coach and tried to call the defense for a few years, and that was good, but it just was too much after a while. And so this role really fits me. It fits me what I really enjoy doing. It fits me what I want to do. And to be able to chance to do it at a place like Clemson and at a place like Penn State, that was pretty special, And, we obviously were one game away, one play away, I thought, from getting to the national championship game, and we expect to be in that situation here. So to be able to have football at the highest level, do what you love to do around great people, man, doesn't get any better than that. So I'm very, very excited here, and hopefully this is the last license plate that we've got to put on the wall.
Hi, Coach. This is Tracy with TigerNet.com. When you are beginning to build this Clemson defense, what maybe traits are you going to identify to build a successful unit here?
Well, to me, it's really pretty simple. Football is not a complicated game. It's not easy, but it's simple. And to me, it's about playing with the physicality and the toughness. You recruit speed. You want great athletes, you got to recruit those athletes. And I love guys that can run and love to hit, And so we're going to make a big deal about takeaways, tackling, and effort. To me, that's the foundational football side of what we want defensively, and guys that can get to that football at a high level of speed. And when they get there, they got a very violent way to finish. And so, but you got to create confidence in your guys. You got to create a system that's simple. I'm really multiple in what we do, but I'm a big concepts guy. So I want our guys to play with a ton of confidence, keep it simple, let them play fast. The multiplicity to me is built in within the system and the scheme, and that we as coaches control that, and the guys just get to play. And I think when you do that, you create the tackles for loss, the sacks, the takeaways that we spend so much time talking about that change games. And I just think about even in the playoff run that we just had, and we had 28 tackles for loss and 11 sacks and 9 takeaways and scored twice on defense. And that's what you got to do to be able to win and play elite defense. And so, and also in the red zone, because to me at the end of the day, it's about, the only stat that really matters is the points. And so that to me is yards is what it is, but you got to keep them out of the end zone. And so, we were top 5 in the country in red zone defense, and that to me that's where the execution piece and the tackling and all the things you got to coach as an individual coach. But to me, it's really about those simple things, and we're going to adapt the scheme to our guys. I really want to watch our guys here, and I really haven't seen them very much. I watched one game. We played SMU. We got to see the Clemson defense against their offense. That was the only game I watched all year long. So I want to spend time getting to know our guys and seeing what our strengths are, and then kind of adapting the system to them because it has that type of versatility.
from Fox Carolina. I wanted to ask you, Tom, you've made a couple stops. What have you learned is kind of that secret sauce, that special stuff to connect quickly and start to implement and connect with your guys quickly so you can capitalize and be ready for LSU week one?
No, and you look at the history of place we've been, we've had a chance to really create a lot of change immediately, and I think the secret to that is relationship building. I'm going to start this process tomorrow. I'm going to meet with every single one of our players on defense individually in my office one-on-one and get to know them. And I write everything down about them and their families and everything that they love to do. And one thing I'll kind of finish is tell me the 3 most important things in your life. And to me, that really tells me what they value, because I really can't motivate somebody. I really can't connect with them. I can't capture their heart or their mind if I don't really know what's important to them. So I got to begin that process. And so once you do that, then now I'm able to hold these young men to a high level of accountability. And when they know you care about them way more as a person, as a player, that process gets sped up. So to me, the secret sauce is caring about them at an elite level. And they know when it's just about, trying to get them to do something that benefits you, or if it's something you're trying to do to help them benefit themselves and their own future. So it usually works together. But to me, that's kind of what we've done all these years, and I'm going to keep doing that. So I just think at the end of the day, it's also just creating that belief, that they got to know you believe in them. And they got to know that you're taking the time to really help them become special and reach their goals that they have. And I got to have knowledge of what those goals are. So that's why I have all this. I keep it on my computer. Every kid's going to have their own little file, and it allows me to really connect with them. And then when they're not living in a way that's matching up with those things they say, then I can hold them to it. But if I don't have all that stuff down, it's just kind of me just talking to them. And sometimes you don't connect. And so I really believe in that process, and we'll get that started here real soon.
Yeah, but what drew you to Coach Allen schematically?
Yeah, it's right fit. Well, I'm 4 down. I've always been a 4 down guy. That's just kind of what I've grown up with. I think big people beat little people, and now a lot of that is our ability to recruit the best of the best in the defensive line. Now, if I was somewhere else, you have to adapt and do what you have to do to win games. Not everybody is fortunate enough to recruit the type of defensive lineman that we can at Clemson. Nobody's had more D linemen go to the NFL in the last, 15 years or so than Clemson. I mean, we got guys all over the NFL with unbelievable success. So that's who we've always been. Again, that's what I grew up around. Won a national championship as a player. To me, I think you got to be multiple within that. And then the way the game has changed, he's a 4-2-5 guy, and that's, we always say we're a 4-3 base, and I mean, in reality you are, because sometimes you're going to play some teams that are going to be heavy personnel and things like that, and you're not going to put a little DB out there on Davis Allen, right, or a big old tight end. So you have to adapt in the way the game has changed and evolved. And you see so much 11 personnel and some 10 personnel, a little bit of everything. That 4-2-5 is really what the 4-3's grown into. And y'all have seen us. And then occasionally you have some guys that are unique. Occasionally you come across an Isaiah Simmons, right? Some unique people like that gives you a little more flexibility. But we've got good secondary play. We've got to create. I think you have to have a great nickel corner type of guy who can line up, because where does Antonio Williams line up? Where's Tyler Brown line up? Where we put TJ Moore in the slot versus Texas. So you create matchups, and so you have to have the ability to cover. And then also you got to have the ability to stop the run. Those guys got to fit the gap. They got to pressure the quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into the scheme, but it starts with me with being able to control that line of scrimmage. And again, we're at a place here that has a very rich tradition and history, and we lost one D tackle that we expected to lose. So I mean, these guys we got a great group back. That's where it all starts. So, I want to set the tone there. And again, it's not that you're not in and out of odd and even fronts, and you use your, I think y'all picked off a pass with a DN in the playoff game. You create simulated pressures and things like that. So, they think it's pressure, but it's not. And next thing you know, here comes a pick. So, don't make a living doing that, but you use your personnel in a lot of different ways to fit the scheme. So that was something that was very important to me. And so he was a great fit, right out of the gate. And as I did, that was part of my process and really looking at everybody, and because I know who's here. And, it's important to me to bring the right person in here that fit our staff and fit the personnel.
Sam Walters, the Clemson Insider. Obviously, Penn State's been known for a lot of their great defense past recent years, producing players like Chop Robinson a couple years ago, Dual Carter this year. What is kind of something that you've looked at as far as development for Clemson's defense as a whole, but especially the defensive line with some of the talented edge rushers and D tackles that we have?
Well, as Coach mentioned, I think it's a great fit, because of the similar, mindset of how we want to use those guys. And obviously, there's a long history here of having great defensive linemen. And to me, that's the key. You want to stop the run. You got to have great defensive linemen, great linebacker play, and, just tremendously disciplined run fits, which we take a lot of pride in. And we'll continue to do that here. And but to me, it's really about going out and recruiting guys that have those physical qualities you're looking for, and then developing them, but and also having a system that allows those skills to be magnified, and so a guy like Abdul Carter, had played linebacker the year before, came to me and really wanted to move to that position, saw what Micah Parsons did, in that spot, and it was obviously proved to be a great move for him. He's going to be rewarded for that here real shortly, but bottom line is that, everybody's system has different ways of utilizing those kind of guys. And so when you have a 4-down, structure, it allows that to be magnified. You do a lot of things with that individual, and based on their skill set, we're going to be able to take advantage of that. But it's about recruiting and then development. And I really love being a part of a program that really values that component of it, and be able to take young men out of high school, develop them, and really allow them to be able to maximize everything they've been given. So I just think that's our responsibility as coaches, is the developmental part, and it's also to allow them to be put in position per the scheme to make those plays. And that to me keeps the offense off balance, very attacking and aggressive, but also being able to move and also to drop at times. And I think those guys, they love that. And allows them, because they also see, hey, this is going to allow me to be able to showcase my skill set and help increase my value as a player when I show I can play in multiple systems in the NFL. And that to me is helpful in both recruiting and to help motivate your guys, to be their best.
Tom Noah, Chastity, ABC, Columbia. Full transparency, Penn State graduate. So why is this the right time to come from Happy Valley to Death Valley? Why was this the right moment after just a year up there up north?
Yeah, it was totally unexpected, to be honest with you. I know not everybody is going to understand it, and I respect that. But what I said earlier is really the bottom line. It's about my family and the timing of it all. When you do this as long as I have, and you get to the point where you've had some great opportunities and experiences, you really you care about having your family as coach if you can, and sometimes that's not impossible, and so to be able to, for my wife to be able to see her grandchildren on a consistent basis is, you can't replace that, and you think about all that families, when I left high school in 2006, I was hired as the defensive coordinator at Indiana in 2016, so it was a 10-year window when we left high school, and I was able to fulfill my dream of being a defensive coordinator in the Big Ten, which is what I said when I left Ben Davis High School. That's what I wanted to do. That was 10 years. We lived in 7 states in those 10 years. And a lot of moves. And, well, who's that move? Who they on? That's on my wife. I mean, she's the superstar in this whole thing. And she's been amazing. And I appreciate her so much because, I was chasing after this dream that she said became their dream and our dream as a family. And that's when everything started to change. There was a time where I wasn't sure if this was going to be good for them. And I almost went back to high school. And I'm glad we didn't, but at the same time, I wasn't guaranteed anything when I left, that situation. I was at a really, really good high school program. And so there's no guarantees collegiately that you're going to have an opportunity. And so to know that they went through all that, they went through multiple elementary schools, all of them went to multiple middle schools. None of them went to one high school. They all went to at least 2 high schools. And that's tough. And so to have a chance to be together right now, man, I couldn't pass it up. And you mix that in with a chance to be with this guy right here. I mean, it just was, people that know me well weren't surprised. I'll just say that. They weren't surprised that my family was something that I really put at a high priority here, even though many people won't. And say, why would you leave there after a year? We had such a great season. We're going to have another great season. I believe that. They're going to. And I wish them nothing but great things. But for me personally, this is about my family. And I really am excited to be here. And I'm so thankful my wife gets a chance to have the whole crew together. And wherever long that might be, the good Lord's in charge of that. I'm just going to be faithful during that time.
About how important was presence and command of a room and what you were looking for to lead this defense?
Oh, that's huge. I mean, he's obviously a great leader. He's led for a long time. His background was also one of the things that that really I was really attracted to, because he does have a long high school background. He's had to teach. He was very successful, huge Florida ties. He was a very successful coach down there in Florida. But I love his track record. You know, he's a grinder. He's a winner. And he's not always had the level of player that he's had at Penn State or at Clemson. He's not always had that level of player, but he's still always been unbelievably successful and competitive. And he's a teacher at heart. And, you know, to teach, you've got to be able to connect and communicate. And he's a natural at that. So it's very important. You know, we've got a great staff. We've got some really, strong coaches and individuals in our room. So I needed the right guy to come in to lead that group and to lead our defense. And so we made the right decision.
I'm assuming who coaches linebackers?
Yeah, well, he's going to, you know, they made a change in college football this year that is different for everybody. You know, I know it may have been going on some places, but for us it was a huge change because it allowed everybody to coach. So that's a huge thing. So I think one of the things you will see in college football is kind of a restructuring, and that's what he came from. And honestly, 3 or 4 of the coaches that I talked to, same situation. And that so he'll run our defense. He's gonna coach everything. He's gonna coach everything. A lot like the NFL. You know, he'll start with the linebacker room as far as coordinating the defense from the linebacker room, but he will. We've got Ben. We're in the process of kind of finalizing some things there with that room, but with Thomas as well. But he will run the defense. He's not going to go on the road recruiting, so he's going to always be with the team, and really, really like that. It's actually something we've talked about with Garrett as well. We're going to talk about that, and so if we end up doing that with Garrett, Taj will be the one that will go on the road. Ben will be out on the road tomorrow, and but he's going to be with the team, and I think that's great. I think you go see that more and more. And most of the guys that I talk to, that's exactly how they've structured. Again, now that everybody can coach, you know, that's huge. So you got to designate who the 10 recruiters are. So I think that's going to be a great opportunity. But he'll run the defense from the linebacker room, but he's going to be involved in everything, coach everything, make sure we're connected like we need to be, detailed like we need to be, and go from there. So I'm really excited about that aspect of it. So and the good thing about that is he doesn't have to hit the road tomorrow and, 2 weeks and 2.5 weeks of craziness. He's going to have time to be with our team, time to transition all of our support staff that's here, get everything meshed together from a terminology standpoint, get on the same page there. So when we do get off the road, I'm hitting the road, so I'll be rolling for a couple weeks here. But when we do get off the road, 1st of February, we'll be so much further ahead than what normally in the past would be the case. So I'm excited about that. And then obviously we had a long meeting this morning. We went through all the recruiting there. And the good thing is he knows a lot of the people we're already recruiting. So there should be a smooth transition, but then there's probably some other people that we've got to look at too. So a lot of work to be done. Probably get the defensive staff together a couple times, between now and then as well to get a good head start. And then we'll get through, signing day and all the stuff recruiting that we got to do. Everybody kind of take a little break. He'll get a little transition time from Penn State, and then we'll hit it running. Get in our off-season program. Our strength and conditioning program started today. So this was day one, mandatory. Our guys have been around since they started school, but today was day one, mandatory. So it's a great opportunity. Everybody's excited. Team meeting today, get a chance to get in front of the defense. Already started that process with the defensive staff, and so it's going to be good. But that's how we'll structure it.
David over TigerNet again. Tell by the raspy voice you're a defensive coach. But your Penn State players said that, yeah, you can raise your voice and you don't mind hollering. But they really appreciated your coaching style of explaining and walking them through it and making them explain it to you. Where did that come from? And why is that style so comfortable for you?
Probably from my dad. My dad was my high school coach. He was a great teacher. I thought he was a great communicator to his players. I got to watch that, got to play for him. And I think modeled that after him. And I think that, I've learned to be demanding but not demeaning. And so to me, I want to hold these guys to high levels of accountability, how they're going to practice and how hard they're going to play and how they're going to do little things the right way. But I think it's how you do it. And I do think when you connect with somebody and they know you really care more about it and you're trying to help them become elite and special, they will accept the accountability. They may not like it always, but they will accept even the hard coaching, the tough coaching of being held to that standard is what they really, because they want to be better. They want to improve. They want to be able to be held to that. And so, but you also got to get to know how they respond and how they learn. And that doesn't just happen just by walking into a room. You got to get to know them, connect with them. So to me, I just think it goes back to my high school coaching, teaching background. Got my master's in educational leadership and was, really, really involved in that whole process, as a high school coach. And so I think that's where, even talking to Mickey Kahn, we have a very similar, background. I first met him when he was a high school coach and I was recruiting there, at Grayson High School when I was at Ole Miss. And so I just think that allows you to be able to connect and communicate. And I'm always big on why. I want them to know why. They need to know why structurally we're doing things. Why are we doing things schematically? Because I think it helps them adapt and be able to transfer that information from one concept to another, from one scheme to another, much easier. And I think that's a big deal. And so I teach that way. I take time to explain that way. And then you just mix in a whole bunch of energy with all that, and then you get what you want, which is a bunch of high-level buy-in, kids playing as hard as they can play, and all for a common cause. So I think I was born to do this. This really kind of fits me, and I love it. And I don't have to give myself a pep talk to get out of bed every day because I feel blessed and excited to do what I do, and I have a ton of passion because this is my purpose, and I'm living it out.